Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me on this fine, lovely day. So I wanted to do a little video regarding the security requirements that have come out for Fidelity approved notary signing agents. And I just wanted to go through that and give my take on what you need to do to get yourself in compliance with those guidelines that they put out. So that's anybody that's doing anything with BankServe or Fidelity directly. And I will get that. Let me share that information. Hopefully I can. Okay, here it is. So this is the document that was sent out, and it talks about what you need to do. So I'm not going to go through reading everything, but I just wanted to share some things. Okay, so and I want you to, I need to look up the video, but Notary Stars, Ronnie did a great job in sharing this information. And not that he shared a bunch of awesome information, but just the Q&A section, which is gold in those kind of videos. You get to learn a lot from other people, what other notaries are doing, and trying to navigate this security requirement. So here, so not to get too far in the video, what I use is down in the description. Okay, I'm just gonna say right off so you don't have to watch 10 minutes of me talking if you're not interested. I use ESET for my for virus protection, and I use Proton Mail for my email, which includes two-factor authentication and encryption included in that email. Okay, so I have my domain linked to that Proton Mail, and so everything goes secure if I want it to, and encrypted and all that good stuff. So I'm going to leave those in the description so you can check that out if you're interested. And I'm going to go in depth into some of these things to share why I use these products over something else. So the first thing, we're talking about email. So email, they want two-factor authentication. Basically what that means is when you type in your password, they're going to want to send you a text message or some other way to verify it's you. So they want that turned on. I hate that. I don't like two-factor authentication, but fine. I turned it on just so I can be in compliance. Okay, so with Proton Mail, I actually have a third step of authentication. So not only do I need to use my password to get into the email, to log into email, just to see the messages, I have to enter a second password. So it's a two-layered passwords, okay, to see that. And if you forget your password, guess what? Nobody can recover your data, not even the email provider. Okay, that's how encrypted it is. Okay, so that's just to get in to see your messages. So that's the first level of encryption, is the password. Then on top of that, they allow the two-factor authentication, where you have to type in authentication code to verify it's you. Okay, so you do that and you're in. So you do all that and you're in. Okay, the third level, or after all that, once you're in, when you send an email and you're sending, let's say you're sending documents over to some title company, you can upload your documents, or you compile your message, you put encryption on there. It will encrypt the file going to the server, and then when the person that gets your email, they have to click on it and type in a password to retrieve the email. And when you do that, you could put a time limit on the message. So it's only good for 5 days or whatever time limit you want. And then after that, it's gone. They can't retrieve the message. Okay. So that's another level of security that Proton Mail, the one I use, has on it, going for it, I guess. So now I'm going to talk about encrypting data on your stored devices. So when you download documents from signing order, SnapDocs, wherever, Fidelity emails you a link and you download onto your computer so you can print the documents, they want it to be encrypted on your device. So I want to share, so I use ESET to do that. And ESET is a software. Let me pull it up so you can see what in the heck it is. So here it is. So this is the software. So I use, not only, they have a version for just antivirus, and then they have this smart security software that it does firewall protection, it does everything essentially. It actually has anti-theft here. If somebody steals your laptop or computer, it can do things where you can wipe the data remotely. Okay, similar to the Apple product, you can wipe your iPhone or whatever. But anyway, I'm not really worried about that on a computer that's sitting on my desk. If it's a laptop, yeah, then you have to worry about those things. But I use my desk computer, and the reason I use this software, short story, is I worked for a company. We did point of sale software. We had a customer that got hacked. The Russians hacked her computer system, and were stealing credit card information. And so they got this was before they did chips and all that stuff. So the software got hacked, and she got audited by the credit card company, her provider, and they came out, and the guy goes, yeah, even though we had some pretty interesting software on her system, they even bypassed that. So I'm not going to get into the details there, but the guy told her, you should be using this software to protect your system. And I'm like, okay. So once the guy said that, we loaded all that on there, and she didn't have any problems after that. So that's one of the reasons I've used this software now. Okay. So, it's because somebody that deals with this on a day-to-day basis, they said, you should be using this antivirus software, and I'm using it now. Okay. Since then, since I started using this, I've had other people say, hey, I use Norton and I got a virus and I had to call Norton and they had to get it off and all this. It's like, dude, I don't want to use software that is mainstream. Okay. It's kind of mainstream, but it's not mainstream. Norton, McAfee, what's the other one? There was another one that was pretty popular in the day that people would get, and it was cheap. It's like, oh great, I could get software, I could get protected. Well, cheap doesn't mean, or inexpensive doesn't mean you're going to get the best software. This one I pay, I think I pay like 3 years in advance to protect. I think you can protect up to 3 computers or whatever. I pay for it. It gets updates every blasted day. Okay. So that it's doing something. And even if, it actually, you could opt into sending them, anonymous data so they can figure out what's going on with your computer if there's some weird, thing that happened or whatever. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason that I'm using this software is they offer, let's see if they have it here, tools. see, you can submit sample analysis here. You can inspect your network. You know, it tells who's on your network, what device is on your network. If somebody connects to your network, okay, that's very important because that's a separate. I mean, they didn't talk about this in this document, but you should have a work network. That means only things on your network are work devices that you use. You shouldn't be, if you have kids, like I have kids, don't have them on your network because you don't know what they're doing. They're playing, my kids are playing on web games and all this crap that could be infecting the network. And you don't want that to happen, okay? So you want the separate network, okay? That's above and beyond. I know they're not saying that, but that's really what you want to do. Okay, so I'm looking for security tools right here. So you can secure your data right here. And what that means is you could create an encrypted virtual drive that you can download your documents onto this encrypted drive. And so the only way to open it, well, so I'll click on it. So you can create a drive. You can say how big the drive's going to be. And then when you continue and create it, it will ask you, hey, do you want it to auto decrypt if you're logged into the computer, or do you want to use the password that you're creating to decrypt it? So what I would do is don't auto decrypt, because that means anybody that can get on your computer, okay, if you leave your computer or whatever and you're logged in, they can get to those files. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to just say, hey, no, don't auto decrypt. I'm going to have to type in the password if somebody wants to get to that directory. Okay, so you're creating a file location, a file folder that you're putting your files in. Okay, so you download them in there, you print them out, whatever. When you leave the computer, they're still on the encrypted drive. Okay, now of course you want to delete these files after you're done with it, whatever that time frame is. Okay, so I believe Carol Ray talked about keeping them until you got paid and so forth. That's a business decision for you, how you want to do that. Okay, but regardless, they'll be encrypted now. Okay, so they're encrypted on your computer, so you don't have to worry about, oh, they're on my computer and people can download them, or if they steal my computer, whatever. They're going to be encrypted. So not only do they have to get into your computer if they steal your computer, okay, that's easily overcome. Okay, people can get into that, no problem. The encrypted part, that's a little more difficult because they're using pretty heavy encryption. Okay, it's not, I don't know what the key is. It's probably, a 2K byte, 2048 byte key or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe it's even more now. They're pretty large. So what it means is when you have a large key that you have to go through, even if they're using a computer to hack into to hack this encryption, it's going to take hundreds of years to crack it. And by the time let's say they're the government and they have a supercomputer and they can hack it in a year or whatever. Fine, they hack it in a year, and what are they going to get? They're going to get somebody's social. Okay, great. So if you're going to spend that much time to get somebody's social security, their name and social, you're going to be out of business pretty quick. So anyway, that's what I use. So I just wanted to share that with you. Those are the two programs I use. There is the other one that Ronnie talked about Malwarebytes. You can do that for malware. Get the paid versions of these softwares. Okay, do not use the free versions. Okay, I know people want to go cheap. This is your business. Okay, so the last thing you want is somebody says, hey, I need to audit you. And they go there and they say, oh yeah, I see you have these softwares on here, but they're the free versions that don't do anything. Okay. And most of the time, the free versions don't do as much as the paid version. So Malwarebytes, I don't know the difference between the free version and the paid version, but pay for the version. Pay for somebody. You're essentially paying for somebody's programming time. Pay for it. Okay. I don't even know what it costs. But let's just say it's $50. Maybe it's $100. Let's say it's $100. Is it better to pay the $100 for the software, or somebody say, hey, you know what? Now you're being sued because you didn't have everything in place, and now it's thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars because multiple people are suing you, because some hacker got in your computer and stole private information. Okay. And, I looked up this because this is the thing. Everybody's talking about what information is private and what's not. And this is what I found. And I want everybody to understand. Having somebody's address is not private. Having somebody's name is not private information. So name and address is not private. Phone number, that could be considered private, but it's not. Okay. The reason why I'm telling you this is myself. I just called somebody, a real estate broker, and I said, hey, I need my neighbor's phone number. They don't live there. They're renters that live there. And I need the owner's phone number so I can get my fence fixed. Well, guess what? She said, no problem. It's going to cost 17 cents to get that information. Okay, great. So she sent it over to me, and I got in contact with my neighbor or the owner of the property. Okay, so that stuff is there. Okay, now that's not public. Phone numbers can be public, and depending. But what I'm saying is the information that they're worried about is they're worried about can they link your name to your social? Okay, can that be linked somehow with your address? All these pieces of information. If you have all those pieces, can they all be linked together to know that, hey, I have all this information, and Jeff Clark, I know everything about you. Okay, I guarantee you, if you Google my name on the internet, you'll know exactly where I live. You can know because it's all public. Okay, because I have an amateur radio license, and that's public. Okay, that's all. You can find out where I live just by my call sign. Okay, you can find out everything. Well, not everything, not my social, but you know what I mean? You can get information. So that's not what we're worried about, linking these things together. Okay. And that's where the encryption comes. You don't want, all those documents have that stuff in one place. They have their social, they have their name, they have their address, all that's in one place. And they don't want that to get out. Okay. So you having their, I put up on I had a channel. I put up a video where I had some lady's license up there. And even though I had everything blocked out, all her information, they didn't like it because her picture was on there. It's like, whatever. There was nothing you can do. But anyway, you have to understand what is important, what's not important. Okay. So the best thing is to think that everything's important, and then you won't go wrong. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will get the link in the description for Ronnie's video. You could take a look at his video because he talks about other things. This is Ronnie from Notary Stars. He talks about using our records, which is another great program. And there's other programs out there that will work. I'm not saying that this is the best thing out there. Okay. I'm just coming from it from a different angle because I worked in the IT world and was told certain things. Okay. Yeah, you can use VPNs. You can use all these different technologies that are supposed to help you. But guess what? Okay. VPNs and all that stuff, the government can hack it if they want to. They know, they have all the keys. They can get into whatever. Okay. Even this ESET stuff and encryption, I can guarantee you that somebody in the government, in some government somewhere, knows the key and can get into it. Or they have a device, they have a computer that can hack it. Okay. But we're not going for the government agencies. We're not worried about them. We're worried about the guy in Russia, the guy in India, the guy in China, whatever country they're where the hackers are located, where they're trying to get that information to exploit somebody's identity. Okay. And that's the reason for them to come out with this document. Okay. And I didn't go through all the document. I just shared some of it. Let me just share a little bit more. So here's the document again. Okay, so talk about strong passwords. Okay, strong passwords, we know about that. And some of these agencies, like I use, I think it's Solidify. They were saying they make you change your password every 90 days, and you can't reuse passwords. So, like, this is my suggestion, okay? Because I don't do this, but maybe you can utilize this. I had a math teacher in college, and he said the best way to do a password is using the square root of 2 or something. You know, you use a square root of something, and you just it's always changing. I think it was a square root of 2, where it just goes on forever. So you can take a piece of that and use that as your password, because it always changes. You take a piece of it and it goes on forever, you know? So you can have some numbers and then a piece of that, and then you can keep rotating it forever, essentially. Okay. So that's just a tidbit, but just follow these guidelines and you can get something that will work. Okay. Okay. I talked about antivirus and malware stuff already. And then storing data. Okay, so so again, if you have something like this, so this is the hard drive, portable hard drive, you can use this and store data on this hard drive, okay? But use encryption so that if you're carrying it around and somebody steals it out of your car or something, they're not going to be able to plug it in and get data. There's going to have to be some level of encryption on there. Okay. They don't want you to store it on those devices, of course, because it might get into the government hands and they might, be able to decrypt it. Okay. So don't do it unless you really have to. Okay. Okay. Destroy all customer information. Okay. So, and you can watch the video. I'm going to just say, Ronnie talked about destroying his computer when he's done with it. Okay. You don't need to destroy the computer. Okay. You need to destroy the storage device. Okay. So in a computer, that would be the hard drive. If it's a physical hard drive, hard drive, or if it's the SSD type drives, okay, you need to physically destroy that or take it out of the computer. You can take that device out of the computer, get a blank drive, put it in there and sell it to your buddy, whatever. Okay. But you need to take that out. If you take that out, then you need to take your hammer to it and beat it up. Okay. You can electronically destroy the drive, meaning you can overwrite the ones and zeros over and over and over and do it. You have to do it like, I don't know, there's a DOD level of destroying data. And I actually have software that does do that. but it's better to use the hammer. Okay. Just if you're getting rid of something like that, just destroy it, hammer it down. Okay. So, do that. Okay. And then they can audit you. Great. Okay. And then level this basic security recommendations. Okay. These are no brainers. He didn't go through this, but have a dedicated email for your work business, for your work, work email. Don't have personal and work at the same email. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, most of this, avoid public shared wireless networks. Okay. That's what I talked about earlier about just having a dedicated network even in your house. Okay. I mean, if you go to the coffee shop, okay, and you have data on there, maybe you don't want to maybe you don't want to be on a public network there unless you have something like ESET here on your hardware, because this software, you can sit there and you can block different ports and things so things can't go in and out of your computer. You can say, hey, I only want web traffic to go on my computer. So that means that you have to be on a website in order to do things. Okay. But even then it can cause problems. So best to avoid it. So, okay, avoid using external devices. Okay, of course, they're just saying that because if it's not encrypted and somebody steals it, they can get the data, or if it is encrypted, then your liability goes up that somebody's going to get it and they're going to have years to try and decrypt it if there's something valuable on there. Okay. It's just better to not keep that. Okay. Now, I do have an external drive, and the reason why I keep external drive is not for my loan signing stuff, but I keep data on there. Like I have my website on here. Okay. So if my website, if my provider blows up and they say, hey, we just lost your website, guess what? I have it right here, and it's not on any other device, and I store it in my safe. Okay. So I have it. Okay. But when you're talking about somebody else's information, you don't want to store that, right? And that's the whole thing. So with that, I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you have taken something away from this. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Maybe you're like, this is old news. That's great. If it's old news, you stop the video long before now. Okay. If you haven't, thanks for staying with me, and hope to see you on the next one. Have a great one.